the weight on my shoulders. As I feel the sky come down on me, and I can't hold it much longer. Gonna let go so I can be free. Yeah, yeah.
It is Foul Territory live on a Thursday. AJ's dancing. Why? You have a long weekend coming up?
I have a long weekend, but not
Yeah,
like that.
long weekend coming up of baseball tournaments.
Baseball tournaments, MLB game in Cleveland. I might have to see you in Fort Myers.
Oh man,
you can't
Cleveland.
get away from you.
never thought you'd hear that sentence.
No,
a year ago.
Cleveland. Yeah.
Cleveland. They're putting you on the prime game. I see.
Cardinals.
Is
Guardians.
it Cardinals Guardian?
Oh, I can't wait to dig in. I'm going to sit with Wilson Contreras for like an hour.
You won't.
Please record that.
Okay. I mean, I will talk to him.
Yeah, you should.
I'll talk to him. I'll talk to Mozeliak. I'll talk to, obviously, Ollie Marmol.
Yep.
But they're hot, so.
Okay, series here against Cincinnati.
Yeah. But
they got smacked.
They're better than what they were.
Yes. Oh, yeah. They're playing much better baseball in general. What's up, LoCain? By the way, Lo, where's your favorite ballpark that you played in besides a team that you were on?
I would have to say the Phillies. You know, I enjoyed playing in Philadelphia. That was a lot of fun for me. I think those are the worst. I ain't gonna say the worst fans, but they give you the toughest time when you're in the outfield. But I enjoy those times very much.
Did you do any playful back and forth with them?
Oh yeah, I just smile, and it kind of gave me that extra motivation I needed. So, you know, once I go up there and I got a hit a home run or whatever the case may be, and I come out there and they're always quiet. So that's all the motivation I needed out there to get me rolling.
I can imagine the trolls, Kratzy, in Philly being like, "Oh, you suck, LoCain," and then he just smiles at him, and they look around like, "Damn, that dude's handsome. He plays a mean outfield and got 20 stolen bags already. I can't really say shit to him anymore."
There's nothing you could really get on LoCain about. Like I don't know, but you in Citizens Bank Park, that's like putting a shark in a little fishbowl. Like you just chomping all those fly balls up. You need to play in the big parks. You need to play in Kaufman. You need to play in Colorado where you can let those old legs run, LoCain.
Yeah, Kaufman definitely made me look good. I will say that.
Hey, let's charge the damn mound, shall we? And I will also mention, as we get that started up, Brandon Woodruff, Susan Slusser, and Kyle Wright joining us pretty soon. So let's start with Philadelphia. I actually need some help here. We were on and doing the show, and then at some meetings, I saw some highlights, but believe it or not, I can't watch every minute of every game. I know, hard for some fans to imagine. I do want to show the clip first. So there was an ump show in Philadelphia, and it sounded and looked like this.
All right, at some point, it's only May 24th.
Yeah, I think he's going to be called out on this one, John. Let's see. Maybe not, because he would have walked back with Torey Lovullo.
So all that for nothing.
Yeah. So 0-2. He's not called out. It would be great if Adrian Johnson popped his microphone on and just said, "This is what's going on." And now, time is called again. And now, Kimbrel is being charged with the ball. And here comes Rob Thompson.
What a joke. What a circus this game's turned into.
Yeah, Rob's hot.
He should be. What the hell's Kimbrel supposed to do?
Kimbrel's ready to go.
They had a meeting for 15 minutes, and he steps on the mound, and they call him. This is a joke. It's all right. Keep making up rules until no one knows what's going on.
And now Kimbrel and Rojas are going at it. And Rojas is saying, "Go back to the mounds." And Kimbrel, boy, he's a fiery dude. Manny Gonzalez gets in front of him. So the rule is the pitcher has to give the hitter a chance to get set. Kimbrel was ready to go. Rojas wasn't ready to go. So there's a ball called on Kimbrel. I'm surprised there wasn't a strike previously called on Rojas. The way the rule is, you're warned one time. And he was already warned one time.
Well, Kimbrel's got to wait now to get his guys going.
Yeah, like he's...
Yeah, dude. Junior Valentine was the home plate umpire. It didn't make any sense because they said Rojas called timeout once and then tried to do it again. So that's supposed to be an automatic strike, so he should have been out. And then Torey Lovullo came out and argued. Somehow he didn't get the strike called. So then Kimbrel's standing there waiting forever while they're arguing. So then he gets in his pose and Rojas steps in the box. Kimbrel's like, let's go. Then he gets a pitch clock violation. Then, of course, Rob Thompson has to come out and argue with it. But I love Crux analysis. This is a circus. What are we doing? We're just making up rules here. And then Kimbrel's like, screw you, Rojas. I'm coming after you. And he's like, you need to hurry up.
You cost me a ball.
Yeah, like, let's go. I mean, it was a lot. It was an ump show for sure. But, dude, come on.
That's the ump, though.
That's all on the umpire.
Help me out. Like, LoCain, because I don't want it to get confused with being against the pitch clock or some of the new rules. Like, that was not managed correctly by the official.
Yeah, agreed. It's just, for me, it's always every single year. It's always way too many situations like this where everyone's confused. No one knows what's going on. And is it because of the new changes or rule changes every year, or as hitters or pitchers or umpires, they're just not knowing what's going on? But I feel like overall something needs to change. There needs to be a set of rules, and we all abide by it, because honestly, no one knows what's going on anymore.
I don't know if the ump was in the wrong here. I don't know what happened with Rojas. I don't know if he did call a second timeout. Is that what you said, AJ? He tried to call a second timeout?
That's what they said on the air. So I don't know, because again, we were on air, but from what I've read, he called one, had already used it. He tried to call another one. The umpire, I think, said, whoa. And then I think Kimbrel stopped because they were having a conversation, I think. And then Kimbrel's, ends up being the one that gets the pitch clock violation.
His was legitimate. Like, his was legitimate. You can't come set until the dude's in the box.
Right.
And that's
he was in the box. He had 1 foot in the box. He was in the box.
I don't think that's – yeah.
And then Kimbrel's like, screw you, let's fight.
What's considered in the box now? Is it 1 foot? What's considered in the box now?
You got to be 2 feet in the box ready to hit before you can come set. And I don't know if earlier in the at-bat he already got a warning. That would be the only area where I think they may have gotten it wrong, if Kimbrel hadn't gotten a warning for that already. So if he hadn't, that should have just been a warning. Hey, you got to wait until he's looking at you, whatever the terminology is. But the best part of that video, because I shot Kimbrel back in 2012, he's wearing my number now. So I didn't even know he was my number, but that makes me feel so happy.
Yeah, I heard he was pissed. Like, he always wanted your number,
Yep. Hey, ownage is ownage.
Yeah. He's just glad you're on foul territory now.
He's glad I'm done.
Just a little bit more of an explanation, because I've been trying to find – this is the best story I could find. And it says that Kimbrel kept coming set too quick because Rojas had 1 foot in the box. But his other foot probably was also in the box, but it just looked like, So Kimbrel was coming set. JT Realmuto kept telling him, hey, slow down, come and set. So I think that's what Rojas was complaining about. Then Torey Lovullo came out to complain. That's why he didn't get a pitch clock violation. And then he did it again, and that's when the home plate umpire came out, with the whole show they do. And Kimbrel, and then Kimbrel's like, screw you, Rojas, let's fight. So hurry up. And then, but.
So is it on Craig? Does he need to slow down?
Dude, no, hurry up.
So
the new rules are let's hurry up.
What's the problem?
Rojas took too long. I don't know. I didn't see. But.
I think it's kind of gamesmanship. Like, if you stand there with your 1 foot in the box, you don't have to get into the box until 8 seconds and address the pitcher. You address the pitcher, then you're ready to go. And if the pitcher wants to speed you up, AJ, both of you guys, you knew it. If some dude was working fast, you'd stand outside the box and just be like, yep, just wait. And, maybe do like the Ryan Braun, like arm up until you get in the box and then put your arm down and it's all about that timing, and maybe he felt like Kimbrel was rushing him. It was the Phillies' momentum right there. Shoot, after the show, I turned on Phillies the radio for the game, driving to my practice, and I mean, it was doom and gloom. They were like, well, what comes first? No hits or no energy? Because they got both today. And it just looks like this is where this team is at. Maybe they're missing Rhys Hoskins. Maybe they're missing, they're talking about all that stuff. And then
They were doing that post game?
No. The game was still going on. Right when when they took Zach Gallen out is when I was driving to practice. And then by the time I got to practice, they started to mount that comeback. And obviously after practice, I got to see all the fireworks and everything.
Yeah, I mean, down 5-0 at one point in this game, and Trey Turner, bottom 9, 1 on, 2 outs, down 2. That's the moment you practice in the backyard. Hanger from Ruiz. And he had been 0 for 4 in the game and 1 for 12 in the series. And, I mean, he's saying it all year. He's like, I suck. I suck right now. I'm playing my worst ball. I want to play the clip of what he said post-game. Because, obviously, yeah, he does that, and then boom with the walk-off in the 10th. But here's what Trey Turner said after the game. So it was a huge win for the Phillies and for him, not just for his personal climb to get back to who he really is this year, but for some more respect from his mom.
Oh, they don't bother me. My mom prepared me for anything in this game or in this world. So she was tough on me from an early age, and not much phases me. So she told me today she was booing me. She actually texted me and said, good game except for your 4th at bat. And I said, yeah, not a good one. And she said I was booing you. So yeah, she's why I'm here. One of the reasons why I'm here.
She's honest.
Him. Yeah.
She's honest. Listen, when you're playing bad, everybody boos you. You come home from games, my kids would boo me sometimes.
No.
Yeah.
No, they didn't.
Of course. Why not? If you're playing crappy, you deserve to be booed.
What would they say? Why do you suck right now?
Sometimes.
No, they didn't.
They're right. We all suck at times.
My kids made fun of my speed on MLB The Show. They're like, you got 8 speed, Dad. That is so embarrassing that my dad has 8 speed.
Did you have 8 speed?
Yeah. That's garbage.
Didn't even get to double digits.
Garbage.
Look at like 96 or whatever he was, just cracking up at you. What did your kids ever say to you, especially the last few years? Did they get on you like, man, Dad, why don't you play every day anymore?
Oh, you said you're talking to me?
Oh, yeah. Like, Dad, why'd you take a day off? You used to play every day.
Dad tried to get all the day games off. I wasn't a fan of day games. Day games were for the birds. I wasn't a fan of them. But my kids, they love watching their daddy go out there and just run around and try to make diving plays and get out there. But for me, I've always wanted to play. I tried to play as much as I could into this body. Sometimes I would play too much and this body would break down on me. So that's why I had a lot of injuries throughout my career. But my kids play with me on the show. They enjoy it. I guess my ratings are okay on there. So, I guess I'm not too bad. I don't know.
We played a game this year against a team early in the year, and they were yelling at me because I'm assistant coach, saying, you're not even a real card. Because on MLB, they have like the cards, I guess. And they're like, you're never going to be a card. And we were like, what the hell are they yelling at? And then we finally figured it out. The coach is a buddy of mine. And we're like, what were they saying? He's like, you're not even a card. And then so we had some of our kids ask their kids, and they're like, oh, you're yelling at him because, he doesn't have a real card on MLB The Show.
Were they?
I'm like, that's what they're going with?
Were they like joking like
no,
you do?
The whole
or they
game.
Were like really trying to talk shit?
Yeah. They were being real. They were yelling at my son who was catching, your dad doesn't have a card. And we're like, I got a card. We didn't know what they were saying.
Your dad doesn't have a card?
On MLB The Show.
Your dad was a multiple-time All-Star, and the video game company didn't give him a card yet in the game.
I'm like, I've been on that show lots of times. I was on that game for 20 years.
For 20 years. Now you're a legend. Now doesn't even have a card. Yeah. Shoot, my son tried to put in his name, the create a player, and it wouldn't take Kratz as one of the names. I'm like, I was just on the game back in 2020. It hasn't been that long ago, but he typed in Ethan Kratz, and all it came up was Katz, Katz. I'm like, unbelievable.
Well, he's a
MLB
pitching
The
coach.
Show.
Yeah, that's a pitching
Maybe they
coach.
got you confused with the pitching coach.
Yep.
That's Ethan Katz.
Yeah, exactly, Ethan Katz.
Yeah.
That's what you just said.
Terrible.
Oh man.
Terrible.
My mom, I've told this story on here. My mom, when I was with Minnesota, if I'd be like 0 for 5, 0 for 7, go for 2 games, she'd send me little stick figures, drawings, overnighted of how to hit.
No.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like, hey, let me show
Try
you your
this.
mechanics right now.
Yeah. Stick figure.
Jeez. What did you say?
I just laugh. I'd be like, "Did you hit a lot of sliders in the big leagues, Mom?"
I've heard a lot of players like that where, mom or dad after the game being like, what happened? Like, Emmanuel Clase's cutter in the 9th happened.
Yeah.
What do you want?
How can you not get a hit off Randy Johnson? Well, I don't know, Mom, but he's pretty good.
Yeah.
Mm.
I've
All
seen
right,
it. I've seen it kill some dudes. I've seen it crush guys. Like, there was one guy I know in the minor leagues. His dad, when he was struggling, his dad would come to the road trip in the minor leagues, and he would sleep on the floor in the room with his roommate because he didn't want to pay for his own hotel room, but he was coming to because he wanted to help him with his swing.
Wow.
Luckily, I played before the internet and you could watch all the games, so
Very true.
I got I didn't have it as bad. They could only listen on the radio on the internet, and there was no video. Like now you turn on MLB,
You can watch.
any minor
Anything.
league game there is.
Yep.
It's crazy. And before now, we were lucky we had internet.
I feel bad for all the players out there that have to deal with family, friends, anyone that doesn't know the game who's trying to give them tips. Sometimes it's helpful,
Yeah, totally.
but yeah, pick and choose your spots, fam.
Listen to Gavin Sheets' dad.
I feel you, Trey. I feel you, buddy.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
Our moms boo us all the time.
right.
Let's hit Marcus Stroman's day against the Mets, a 4-2 dub for Chicago, and he was fired up, and we can show it as we talk through it, but he is someone who likes to pitch with motivation and emotion, and it is late May going up against the Mets. This is Metsmerized online. One anonymous Met on Stroman's celebration via New York Post. Show some respect. Be a professional. It isn't all about you. And I know our boy Adam Jones has been tweeting today about Mad Dog.
What did Stroman do? Because I didn't see this part of it. Because I went after Senga couldn't get 6.5 strikeouts. I went to bed.
Can we show here? We're showing him getting pumped up, pointing to himself. And to me, I see stuff like that all the time where guys are like, let's go. There's closers who would act like they're trying to kill everyone. And then you talk to them. Liam Hendricks, nice as hell, but he plays his best, pitches his best if he thinks he's going to go out there and battle. And he'll get into it with the opposition, but not even a particular person. I've spoken to him about it. So I don't know.
Here's my thing. I
like
hate the anonymous player. Dude, step up and say it.
Yeah, talk.
Dude, who was it? Say it. Be like, if you're Pete Alonso or Francisco Lindor or Nimmo or one of those million Mets guys we all know, be like, why is Marcus Stroman doing that to us? We didn't get rid of him.
Probably wasn't them.
Yeah.
Well,
What?
Okay, then who was it?
It was definitely one of them.
It better not be one of the young guys, because if you're one of the young guys doing it, then
That's why.
then one of the veteran dudes should be like, shut up.
It is probably one of the young guys because a veteran would say shut up and people would get after them on social and be like, who are you? You're the 26th man on a roster and Stroman's pitching like a 1 right now.
I think it was a veteran because I don't
Really?
see a reporter. I don't see a reporter going, oh, okay, yeah. I won't tell anybody. Like it was somebody just chumming around and being like, man, to me, maybe somebody that played at the same time that Stroman was there. I don't know. What I saw Stroman do was very, it seemed like it was very directed at their dugout. But, hey, what do I know? I wasn't in the game.
Yeah, but also, I don't know if there's anything personal behind the scenes, but I do know that he pitched for them and they didn't keep him. right?
He signed a big deal to go to the Cubs,
I know,
though. I mean, what does he want?
It's a big money team, and that's just his motivation. Who cares?
He got the qualifying offer.
He didn't Amir Garrett and run over and try to take out half the dugout.
He should. That'd be way cooler.
Okay, Lo, your turn. Like, you're on the other side. Like, do you care?
I mean, I get it. Some people don't care, but I'm big on the respect thing. I think maybe there was possibly a situation where he wanted to come back there, and I feel like he directed all of that energy towards the players in the dugout. But to me, maybe it was the GM that didn't want him. Maybe that's the person who got rid of him. And speaking from experience, I had a little extra motivation myself. When things fell through at Milwaukee, the Cubs, for instance, I was talking to them a little bit, and then they kind of gave me the runaround. They acted like they wanted to sign me, then they gave me the runaround. But then when I eventually signed with Milwaukee, that always stuck in the back of my head. And every time I played the Cubs, I try to go out there and do damage and catch every fly ball, driving runs, do everything I possibly could to beat that team that day. And to me, that's coming from above. That's a whole nother situation that's personal, the way he played that out.
So here's my question. Isn't this what we want? We went through the WBC, and every person on the show said, we want more emotion. We want guys that are going to do the stuff in the WBC. So then Marcus Stroman goes out and does it. Hey, da-da-da-da. Now some random Met guy who won't put his name on the quote.
Yeah, all right.
First of all, I don't believe in fighting battles in the newspaper. Like, if you got a problem, go up to Marcus Stroman and say, hey, let's figure this out. I'll put my name on the quote. But isn't this what we wanted? We wanted more emotion. Now somebody, because they got it shoved up their rear end by Marcus Stroman, they're like, oh, it's not about him. Well, guess what? He just shoved it straight up your butt for 8 innings. So he just kind of can do whatever he wants. So we wanted this on one hand, but now when people do it, we don't want it because he wasn't showing anybody up. He was just like, I just pitched 8 innings, shoved it straight up your rears.
Yeah.
Come get some. I don't care.
I think he was showing guys up, but I don't think it's a big deal. He did it. It wasn't like he just got rocked for 5. Like, he had an absolute baller outing. And to me, I mean, the exact quote is, I don't know, like, what did we do to him? Like, who said, like, oh, what did we do to him? Why is he doing that? It just seems like a very, like, back corner kind of interview, somebody saying something, like trying to get a rise out of somebody.
And
it looked personal to me. It looked personal to me. There's much more going on that we don't know about. But the energy he displayed, I've always been the guy that, hey, you don't like somebody kicking your butt, go out there and stop them. So I've always been on that side of the coin for sure.
I mean, guys go crazy, flip bats, do whatever. I like all of it.
I got no problem with what he did.
Yeah.
Now, there's more, like LoCain just said, there's more to it, and we don't know that.
So unless
somebody comes out and say it.
Exactly. Unless you say that, if you're a player on either side and you say that to clarify, otherwise I'm just going, cool. He's got emotion. It's a team he pitched for. They didn't give him a big offer to come back. Go for it. You're having a year. Be you. And he's fueling off of that. Enjoy it.
Yeah.
LoCain, what was Samardzija saying to you before we got in that brouhaha with the White Sox? Like,
hey, as we know that situation, Moose took him oppo at the K, and then the next pitch, I get squared up in the back.
Yep.
All right. I thought it was intentional. I looked at him. He didn't really look at me. Okay, whatever. Situation squashed. And then we went to Chicago, and, the whole thing with Ventura, we were fighting everybody that year. We got in a little scuffle there, but in the back of my mind, all I was thinking about was, hey, where's Samardzija? I remember he hit me in the back in Kansas City. And if we're going to fight, then he's a big boy. Let's see what happens, So, but yeah, I mean, in the back of my head, hey, let's handle it as men. Let's handle it right here on the field, and whatever happens, happens.
And you did. You did handle it.
Yes, we did.
We actually, LoCain was saying we fought everybody. We had like 4 bench clearings up to that point that year. and we had we had a team meeting afterwards. It was one of the funniest, best ends of the team meeting. Yost was like, no, like, you guys can't be doing this. We're going to be losing guys. Ventura's going to be out for 5 days. You know, somebody could have gotten hurt in that melee. And then they're like, hey, does anybody have anything afterwards? And Salvi goes, hey, if other team want to fight us, we're going to fight them, okay, guys? We stand up for each other. Good meeting. It was hilarious.
He just shot everything down that they had been saying.
It was the best sound, and everyone's like, yeah! And then we just went on with the season.
That's really good. All right, we have our first guest ready to go. Brandon Woodruff from the Milwaukee Brewers joining us right now, and let's get into it. You like that story?
There
by
he
the way?
is. I said, look, I ain't coming back on unless LoCain's on here. So, there's my guy.
His other guy. Woo, what's going on, Woo?
Nothing, man. Just, you know what it is. Getting through the season. Just going.
I hear you, man. I hear you.
Good to see
Hold on, what's
you,
that shirt say? Retired?
Tired. I hung up my cleats.
Yeah, I just want everyone to know.
I love it.
Man.
Oh, God.
Hey, Brandon, so let's start with what we were talking about. I don't know if you caught any of it, but without most people knowing everything to a story, do you have a problem with a pitcher kind of, doing this, looking towards the dugout when he's celebrating and he just shoved against a team that he thought should have offered him money, maybe?
I don't know. I'm pretty different in that aspect. I feel like my mindset with this game is it's such a hard game, and if I'm not completely focused when I go out to try to make a pitch in a baseball game, things can go a little sideways. So I don't tend to show emotion, but LoCain, one of the funniest things is he's like, I can tell when I'm getting pissed because my face starts getting red. I don't like giving up hits, so when that starts happening, the face starts getting red, and then I start trying to get a little too mad. But I don't try to show too much emotion. I just try to go out and do my job, make a pitch, get 3 outs, come in, sit down, and try to do it again and do it as many times as I can. And that's the only thing I can focus on. But I say that I've been with one team my whole career, so I don't know what it's like on the other side playing against a former team or, other stuff that's going on the other side of the dugouts, with a team that, kind of like you just described. I missed a little bit of what you guys were talking about, but I guess I'm a little bit different that way. I just try to go out and get outs and do my job, and that's it.
No, and that's fair, and that's you. My thing is because it's entertaining and it's cool and it brings a lot of juice to a May baseball game in the regular season. So if someone is celebrating or kind of motioning to your dugout, or we were talking about like Liam Hendricks, and there's been many others, especially closers, who will freak out and kind of act like the team is his ultimate opposition, even if it's not, to fuel them. Do you get pissed off, or you're just like, cool, good for you, and let's go get
if
him?
It's not if you're not disrespecting the other team or one specific person, I think it's fine. I think where you start to get to the point where you cross the line a little bit is when you're directly disrespecting your opponent, the game in a way. That's when you start to have a little bit of a problem. But if you're trying to fire your boys up and your team, and there's no problem with that. There's emotion in this game. People go about it different ways, but if it's in a good, I guess, organic way, I don't know if that's the right word, but if it's not disrespecting the opposing team or the guy you're in the facing the box, then I don't see a problem with it. I think it adds a little bit of entertainment, like you said, but there is a line where you can cross it, and if you don't cross that, then there's no problem.
Big Woo. For one, I want everybody to know my guy, best left-handed hitting pitcher in the game. Okay, I don't know if you guys.
Hold on. Do you got these questions pre-planned or what?
No,
I want to know.
My guy, Woo. Okay,
right.
You are my guy. You will always be my guy. Okay, I don't know if we have a clip. I always say, let's check the tape. Do we have a clip of Big Woo leaning on Kershaw? Taking him way back.
We will have it, I'm told, in about 120 seconds.
120
All
seconds.
right, well, we're going to check the tape in 120 seconds.
Yeah, listen, I just, quick question. I just want to know, man, do you miss Do you miss stepping in that box, or do you enjoy just focusing on just pitching now?
Hey, like you said, man, that's the jungle out there in that box. And if you if you ain't ready for it, it'll eat you up. No, it was great until they started throwing all speed and first pitch breaking balls, doubling up, pitching me inside, throwing me up, down, all this stuff. The hitters got to go through every day. And then that's when I started to struggle, man. I was a little bit of a hitter, and then it turned into like, I don't know if I'm ready for the jungle, man. And it's a fight out there every day. But I tell you what, last year I had a bat in my hand about every inning in between innings. This year, honestly, I ain't really touched one, man. I've kind of let that part of it go. And right now I'm not playing, I'm not pitching, and I sure ain't hitting for a while. So I've been going a little bit crazy, man. I can't sit still anyway. So I went in Shager's equipment room the other day and grabbed my old AP5 out, sitting in the back, and I've been carrying it around with me in the clubhouse. So but other than that, I don't miss the hitting. That stuff's hard, man. But it was cool to be able to see the other guys on the other side and see what it's like. But it ain't fun. But I do enjoy the challenge now. But I sit up on that top step with the hitting coaches, and I act like I know what I'm doing when I'm talking to them. But I know it's hard, man. It's hard.
Wait, are you allowed to use Marucci? Oh, here we go.
Oh, here we
hold
go.
on. Whack!
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Woo!
Give us the play-by-play, Lo.
Tell them about it, man.
Way back. Okay, he's excited. He's fired up right here.
Yeah, he don't show emotion, though.
Hey, let's keep playing. Let's keep
That's
playing
right.
now. As he's crossing home plate, he almost broke my arm on the high five. You just keep watching, keep checking it out. Watch
About
how
blew
my
his
arm bends
UCL out
backwards.
right here.
Oh,
Watch
he
this.
cut it off. Oh, man. But my arm bent backwards, man. He almost broke my arm. He was so fired up, so excited. That's what I love about Big Whoop, man. He enjoys it.
All
He's
right.
fired up. And like I say, when he's out there, man, it's a joy to play behind him for sure.
Oh, okay, I appreciate that. But look, the emotion part, man, I don't know what happened. I don't remember touching first base, and I don't remember what I did running all the way to home. I don't remember slapping LoCain's hand. So that part, I don't remember. I remember swinging the bat, and that's it.
Nice.
Yeah, you just said you don't show emotion. There was a lot of emotion running around those bases.
Hey,
Playoffs are
like I
different,
said,
AJ.
I don't remember it. I don't know what
blacked out.
happened.
Hey,
I blacked out. That's it.
You just said you're using an AP5. That's a Marucci bat, right? Are you
Yeah,
allowed to use those? You went to Mississippi State. Marucci was invented at
I don't-
LSU now.
I know that. That's what I used last year, and I didn't get a hit. And the home run was with a Louisville Slugger. So, and that was the Erik Sogard bat, in which I got a pretty cool story about that. Shager, I just saw him before I came in. He wanted me to give him a shout out, and this is the perfect opportunity to give him a shout out. I got a little backstory about this bat. So, hit the home run, everything's crazy. We ended up losing that series in Game 7. Get back home, and my dad never asked for anything. And he's like, "Hey," he's like, "You think you could get me that bat that you hit the home run with?" And I was like, "Sure, yeah, I'll call Shog up real quick or whatever." So I call him up and I was like, "Hey, do you by chance have the bat?" And he was in Milwaukee. This is off season. And he's like, I think they've already sent all the bats and stuff in the truck down to spring training. I think it's there, so we'll get it when we get there. So I show up, didn't forget, first day. I said, "Hey, Shog, you got that bat?" And he's like, "Yeah, let's go back here and look." So we're looking in the back, can't find it. Right? He's like, "Well, it's probably in Milwaukee. I'm sure it's there. We'll get it." Okay, spring training's over. Show up in Milwaukee the first couple of days. I'm like, "Hey, let's go find that bat." Go in the equipment room, can't find it, and now he's like full panic because he realizes that he doesn't exactly know where this bat is, but he's like, "We're going to find this thing." So, come to find out, the assistant Phil on the other side in Milwaukee, he told Phil to if any of the guys that aren't on the team, just take their bats and send them down to the minor league side. So I was using the Erik Sogard bat, had his name on it, whatever. So long story short, the bat I hit the home run with got sent down to the minor leagues, and probably what I figured happened got broke in the first live action that it took, and it died a hero that way. And I never got to give it to my dad, and I still hold that grudge against Shager. And man, it crushes him every time we get to get to talk about it. But I figured he wanted a little shout out on the show, so I figured I'd give him a shout out in that way. That's a perfect way to give him a shout out.
Nice.
Losing my
Shogger
bat,
needs
man.
to be on here. Shogger needs to be on here. We're trying to get all types of, people in baseball, writers and pitchers and catchers and coaches. We need Shogger, the ultimate equipment manager of all time. So
look, you talk about stories. Those guys have the best stories for sure.
Incredible stories. Incredible. All right, Big Woo. Now the tough question.
All right.
How's the brasso feeling, man? How's the arm feeling? Are we
know what?
Progressing?
Yes. I played catch, so I took after the injury happened, I had about 4 weeks where I didn't do much in terms of I didn't pick up a baseball. I was doing the strengthening and in the weight room a lot. And then had a little bit of a hiccup just with a normal ramp up. Might have went a little too quick, so I took a few days off, and I just started back throwing yesterday, and I felt amazing. So hopefully I'll just be on a straight trajectory up and just have a nice build up and get back in game action. But as far as the past week or so, I've been feeling great and played catch. I'm gonna play catch again today here in a little bit, and just start back with a build up, man. This is uncharted territory for me. I've never had a arm injury in pro ball, so I'm trying to navigate that a little bit. And but as of right now, I feel great, and I can't wait to get back out there and playing. I cannot stand sitting in the dugout watching.
Are you traveling with them? Are you traveling with the team, home and road?
Yeah, I told them apparently they were going to try to play a joke on me after the first day I got hurt. Wade Miley was trying to get this all planned with counts, and we were in Arizona when I had the MRI, and I came in the next day, and they wanted to try to tell me that I was going to stay back in Arizona, and I think Counts didn't kind of want to go through with that joke. He said not this soon. So I guess I come off as a mean guy. I don't really know. I probably would have been pissed off, but if that was what they wanted to do, we were going to have to settle it. But they were going to have to tell my wife and my little girl that they were going to have to go to Arizona, not me. So, but I am with the team, and thankfully I am with the team because I'll probably go crazy. And I'm able to do everything with them. And I try to get in early and get out of the way so I'm not interrupting the guys who are healthy and playing in the game. And I try to get out of their way so I'm not a burden. So,
do you get bored? Because I can't imagine being out. I was never out for this long of a time. But do you get bored? Because I think it'd be boring as hell. You come in, you do 20 minutes of this, and you do 20 minutes of shoulder stuff, and then you're like, now I got 7 hours to do jack shit.
Well, you just go around and you just talk a lot of crap. That's what you do. So, I keep myself. I don't know. Yeah, I do a lot of talking. Ozzy, our hitting coach, he's always on me. He's like, I never shut up. So, Lowe and Kratzy can attest to that. I just want to talk to people, man, in the clubhouse. I just want to go up and talk and hang out. So I pass the time that way. But yeah, it gets a little boring when you don't get in that 5-day routine and you look up and you're getting a pitch, so quick, and guys are already 10 outings in for starters. So I definitely get bored in that sense. But I do have stuff to keep me busy, and I do like to talk to a lot of folks. So no, that passes the time.
So today marks the anniversary for Ryan Braun's first ever game in the big leagues. Do you spend more or less time on the training table now than Braun would getting massages when he was healthy?
Oh, God bless, man. That's tough, man. I'm on the IL, so I'm supposed to be on the table getting ready, but I'd like to say I'm not even close. So I'm going to stick with that. I ain't even close, man. Not it. So another good little story, Brian Anderson, I guess he had caught wind that, Bronny liked to come in and he'd put the hot pack on his back, and that was kind of his thing as soon as he got to the field. So, and loosen up. And I guess he heard that Bronny did that a lot. So he come into the training room the other day, and he was like, they were like, you can either get in the hot tub, warm up a little bit, or we can put a hot pack on you. He's like, well, I don't know if I want to do that. He's like, I don't want to get made fun of. So, no, nobody's going to make fun of you. Go ahead. You don't have to just put a hot pack on. He put the hot pack on, and I was somewhere, and he come walking out of the training room, and I was like, what's up, Bronny? and he kind of looked at me, kept walking through the door, and he came back, and I got like this death stare, man. So I don't know if I want to mess with him anymore, but I guess that still floats around. But I wouldn't say I'm on the training table as much as he is. Not now.
Hey, when you come back and you're making rehab appearances, what's the plan? How does that work? I mean, obviously you still got some time, but are you going to make the phone call, find out where the best, I mean, it's usually in a kind of middle of nowhere spot.
Yeah,
so.
but no, you try to pick your schedule so you're at home. You want to pitch at home, right? So you're first one out. You don't want to pitch on the road, so he'd pitch at home.
Right. But I'm talking about the food order too, then on top of that.
He's buying everyone's spread.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh.
So like give me the whole
100%.
process there of how that works, right? Like when we fast forward, whenever it is, few weeks, and you're like, all right, ready for rehab, like what's the combo? How do you get yourself at home? How do you set up the food to take care of everyone and for them to be like, oh shit, this guy's legit?
So the great thing is having Appleton, which is like an hour and a half away. If they're at home, I can literally do everything here and just literally drive over on the day I got to go throw in this pitch and come right back. So that's the easiest. Nashville's pretty close. I mean, that's a short flight. So like last year, I threw in Appleton. I got in the car, drove over. And basically when you show up to the field, you just get with the clubby there. And I had already talked to him at that point, but I told him, I was like, what do the guys want? I'll get them whatever they want. And I think I can't remember what I ended up getting them. But you just buy them spread so you take care of that as soon as you get to the field. They ask you what you need. And you already kind of come with everything you need. But the first thing you take care of is you go see the manager, go talk to him, go talk to the staff, and then you get all the food order and everything, squared away, and get that situated so the guys can enjoy a good meal after the game. And because when you go to the minor leagues, man, it's bad. There's some bad food and bad stuff going on. So if you can just help those guys out and give them a good meal, it ain't even got to be anything really nice, but just something different. Maybe like Outback or Chick-fil-A is a big hit, but I think I ended up doing Texas Roadhouse last year for them, and steaks and baked potatoes and stuff like that. So they really like that. And then go pitch, and this was the first time I think I realized last year to loosen up a little bit. I show up, and this place is like packed. It's an hour and a half from Milwaukee, and it's like sold out. There's like 6,000 fans there. The place is packed. They're having like a little league. I don't know what you want to call it. They brought out a bunch of teams, so they're like, I'm like warming up in center field, and these kids are just like giving me high fives. And usually when I'm getting ready for a game, I'm trying to focus on what I'm doing. So that was really the first time I come through there giving them high fives and was having fun. And so it's pretty cool to go back. You don't ever want to go rehab and go back down, but you appreciate that part of it, going back and seeing how really bad it was, and now you're in a spot where you can help those kids out, and they'll remember that, even if it's just a good meal. So that's kind of what it looks like.
That's good. Yeah, you got to buy Cracker Barrel because you love Cracker Barrel. I once bought Cracker Barrel spread.
love it.
It was great. It was fat. Chicken and dumplings in a little pan. It works out perfect. You get all the stuff, all the sides and fixings. But if you go play for the Wisconsin Timber Rattlers, have you ever milked a cow?
No, I haven't.
Okay,
I haven't.
So Kratz, the other day he wore a Timber Rattlers hat, and their name was the Wisconsin Udder Tuggers. Now, you went to Mississippi State, and I told you my daughter's going to Mississippi State, and there ain't nothing but farms around there. So you need to pitch, and you need to request the Udder Tuggers uniform. And hopefully Kratz went and got the hat, because it would be absolutely perfect for you.
Oh, God. Well, last year, I don't know if you saw this. Last year I threw there. I show up. They give me this jersey, and it's like, I'm talking, it goes down past my knees. It's huge. And I'm like, man, I can't wear this jersey. So they ended up in the clubby there freaking. You want to talk about freaking out? Oh God, the jersey doesn't fit. It ain't like that in the big leagues where you got your stuff custom to you or whatever. And he's freaking out trying to find a jersey. He's scrambling. He's like, all right, try on your pants. I try on the pants where they're like wearing a garbage sack. They're huge, man. I'm like, I can't wear these pants either. Luckily, I brought my pants, so I went into the manager, Joe Arod, and I said, Joe, he was my first Pro Bowl manager in 15 when I got in, and I said, Joe, I can't wear these pants. They're super skin tight or they're huge. I said, I'm going to have to wear my cream pants, and is that okay? So he okayed it. So what they had is I had the cream pants, and they had like a white jersey. Ended up getting a white jersey that fit. So I was out there rocking my Rehab start, rocking a white jersey with cream pants, and it looked awful, but it worked out. So it's but next time I tell you what, if I haven't heard of that jersey. Is that the one where they got the cow print on it? I think I might have seen that one.
It's right here. Big Woo. They'll change the camera.
Oh,
look at that! Look at them udders. That's all
sick.
you, kid. That's all you.
That is sick. Yeah. When I go back there and rehab, if I go back and rehab there, I'm gonna request that uniform.
And you got to buy the boys a little sign. You got to be creative. You got some time. This is a little longer IL stint for you. And I saw what you're making in arbitration. The boys down there know what you're making in arbitration. So I heard what you said. Texas Roadhouse. I need you to be here. You're at like an 8 or 9. I need you to be a 10, okay?
Ruth's Chris?
All right, well, Texas Roadhouse might be the fanciest place they've got in these towns when you go to it. So you might have to give me some suggestions.
How about this? How about we go a pregame Chick-fil-A, some nugs.
Yeah.
A postgame Texas Roadhouse, and maybe some J's for the boys down there. Everybody gets a pair of J's.
Ooh.
Pair of J's. Well, listen, I'm an Adidas guy. So I'll have to.
Adidas would love that.
Come on, man.
I'm gonna have to hook them up with some Adidas, not J's, man. I'm Team Adidas.
Maybe some Costa.
But I can handle. I got some Costas on. Yeah.
Maybe everybody needs some. I mean, minor league boys, they need some stuff.
You know what? That's a good idea. And I'm a very giving person, so. You know what? I'm going to keep that in the back of my mind.
Just think about it. You're a
I
guy.
like that.
You're a generous guy. You can do it.
Oh,
yeah,
people know. People know. I mean, that story, what was it? Maybe the first interview we did with you, the first combo earlier in the season about buying some food for random people, picking up their tabs.
Oh, yeah.
That got around.
Yeah. Love it. And LoCain pretty generous too. He bought us a bunch of video cases one day, and this is when my eyes got open to the big leagues a little bit. I was like, I got a couple stories, the Miami story, and then the games thing. So LoCain, man, I'm 18, debuted in 17, up for a little bit, and then 18 I was up and down like 6 times, and LoCain was like the one veteran when I would come up and down that would really just like sit down and talk to me, like, and just have fun with me and mess with me. I was like, oh, okay, this is my guy here. So these little traveling game cases started coming out where you could take your console with you and it's got a TV in it and you just put it in there and flip it up, plug it in, and play your video games. So we're all talking about them. Maybe one guy's got one here. Well, LoCain was like, well, just take a piece of paper around and see who all wants one. And I was like, wow. I was like, dang, that's big time. I've never seen this before. Like, this guy's going to buy everybody a case. Well, you had folks who ain't never picked up a game of controller, don't even know what Xbox, PlayStation is. They was writing their name down. You know, we had like 25, like the whole team had like 25 folks buy one. I don't know how much it was, Lo. It was quite a bit of money, but he's just like, here you go, boom, bought it. A week later, these things are in the clubhouse. And I was like, this is the coolest freaking thing ever. And I'm like, if I ever get to this point, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do stuff like that and try to take care of the boys. So then we get to Miami, and I was hurt at this time in 19 with my oblique, and I'm starting to come back. And Gio Gonzalez was with us. He's from Miami. He had a buddy down there that had a Lamborghini, and I was like, oh man, I've never even seen one of these before. Like, I'm from Mississippi. These things ain't even heard of. I was like, he's like, you can come see it. I was like, all right, cool. I want to come over to your house and see it, whatever, sit in it, whatever. So show up to the game that night, and we're sitting in the dugout. He's like, Big Woo, turn around. Gio was like, Big Woo, turn around. His buddies are sitting behind the dugout, and they've got a Lamborghini key and a Ferrari key, and they're like jingling them. They're like, oh, he's like, you're gonna drive one. And I said, oh no. I said, look, I don't know. These things are like spaceships. These are like, I don't know what's going on. But I said, I ain't driving these things. He said, yes, you are. So good thing we won the game. So we come in the clubhouse, we got the music going. We go into the food room, and Counts walks in, and Gio's like, Counts. He's like, Big Woo's he's gonna drive it. Now I'm like, pro, like, hey, I got to get on the bus. Like, I got to ride the bus back to the hotel. There's zero chance I'm not going with the team. Like, I know my place here. Like, I'm gonna hop on the bus, do the whole thing. I'm not going by myself. And he's like, Big Woo's gonna drive a Lamborghini, this weekend. And Counts was like, oh, that's sick, man. Have fun. So once he said that, I was all in. Like, I got over the hump of like, got the manager's approval. So we show up. This white Lamborghini, brand new, 2020 at the time. I get in this thing, crank it up, and it had 83 miles on it. And I'm like, oh my God, what? I said, what am I doing, man? I'm sweating like it's got all these buttons in it and stuff, and I'm too big for the car. So I had it for the whole weekend. I'd valet it, and I'd drive a different guy to the field every day. Well, the last night I had it was my wife's birthday. We were having a little birthday dinner for her, and all the wives and stuff were already at the place in downtown. And so I was like, Lo, man, I said, let's hop in the Lambo and let's go cruise. Let's go meet them, and we'll go have dinner. So we get in there, we drop the top. It's a beautiful night, Miami. We're in this Lamborghini, and everybody's looking at us, and we pull up to the valet. I've never been to this place. I don't even know where this place is. Pull up. Well, I pull past the valet, miss it. And I'm like, oh my God, like I can't park this thing. The guy's like, no, you can pull it in. So I just put this thing in reverse, just not the right etiquette to have a Lamborghini. I just throw this thing in reverse and back it in. And the guy goes, do you want to park it out front, or do you want to put it in the garage? And I'm looking at Lo like, I think we should put it in the garage. I don't want nobody to see this thing. Lowe's like, nah, man. He's like, we're going to leave it out front. And the guy goes, it's either $50 to park it in the garage, or it's like, I don't know, $100 to leave it out front. He's like, no, we're going to leave it out front. So we get out. And he said, we get out. He hands him like, I don't know, I hand him a couple $100. He's like, here, man. He's like, it ain't nothing to a boss. And I was like, he looked at me and said, Big Wood, ain't nothing to a boss. He said, these pockets are heavy. And when he said that, man, I was like, all right, this is it. Like, if I can ever make some LoCain money, I'm gonna take care of the boys. So that's my favorite Lamborghini Miami story I've had, and I don't think anything's gonna top that. But we just pulled up, and he just reached in his pocket, handed the guy the money, and he's like, just keep the change. It ain't nothing to a boss. And when he said that, I about lost it, man. I about lost it.
Look at Lo, and Lo, you're just playing it cool, just like you did with stealing bases. Oh, my knee hurts. You're like, I'm just chilling in Oklahoma with some farm animals. No, you're driving the Lambo, just tipping a couple hundo, leaving it out front.
I love you, Big Woo, man. You're the man.
Hey, if y'all need proof of that, I got pictures. We were taking pictures in front of the Lamborghini, the whole thing. It was fun.
Woo, I'm assuming it was like a Huracan Lamborghini.
It was it was the Huracan Evo Spider. It was like it had just come out for that year.
So my buddy of mine had one, and he let me take my daughter to homecoming court, and he had to drive around. So he gives it to me, and he's about the same size as me. I couldn't fit in it, so the only way I could drive it is I had to put the top down because I was too tall, and then the windshield was like right here. So I'm driving down the highway, and I can't decide if I'm supposed to go under the top or over the top of the windshield because it was too short. So I get out, and I got a line on my forehead, and it's from the wind burn on my forehead that was over because I went under. So I'm driving this thing down the highway, and I had a wind burn on my head because it was too big. So
it's not like you're 6'6" or something.
Dude, I'm telling you.
Who's it for? It's for 5.
Apparently, my buddy's a little short, fat guy, so apparently it's for him.
Look like Dino. Look like Dino in the Lambo.
Exactly.
Well, good story. Yeah, appreciate it. Obviously, we'll try and get Lo on as much as we can when we bring you on, Big Woo. So this is fun.
Works.
We love it.
We got plenty more stories.
Bring it.
All right.
Good to see you, bud. We'll catch up again in a few weeks and keep on that recovery trail.
Yep. All right, fellas. Have a good one.
You too. Appreciate
All right,
you.
Woo.
Oh, that's good stuff. Yeah, see, I need those stories,
Yeah, that was great.
especially to learn more about Lo.
Yeah, for real.
I really want to know every aspect of Lo's life, especially in his playing days. And that's the best way to get it because you're fresh out of the game. We got a lot of former teammates that are anxious to say what's good and give some stories. So we're a few minutes away from Susan Slusser joining us on the Giants, the A's, and West Coast baseball. Kratzy's bouncing in a few minutes. So what I want to do here quick, Kratzy, because it never works out well when you text me your pick and then I try and relay the message. I'm not communicating it quite as well as you can. So let's do our BetMGM locks for Thursday, and we will backtrack first and look at how we did on Wednesday. I tailed AJ. We got hooked. I was watching Kikuchi pick up that fifth strikeout right before he was bounced, which was incredible because he got rocked early. And then that's the thing. He is so freaking streaky. Like those last couple innings, I'm like, why did he do that the first 3 innings? This guy's got good shit. And then Todd Father lost with his Yanks pick. They got beat up late. And then Todd Father lost with his Yanks pick. They got beat up late by the Orioles. Great run for the Orioles late in that game. And then Kratzy, I mean, you hit that over easy.
That was awesome. I almost hit that over in the one inning where the Orioles scored 8. I was sitting pretty. I could go to bed early after that, but it was my best night ever. On my app, I went 5-0. I took everybody's little bit of everything. Like Lucy's 1.5 by Adley. I just got a half a base or half a total
on
base.
Total base, yep.
Hit. McClanahan hit. AJ, I took half of yours. I took Kikuchi. I wasn't sold on Senga, so I went Kikuchi, hit, and then I went my own, hit. I didn't follow Todd, so it was a good day for the big fella.
Here's my thing with the gambling, because we all know I'm new to this.
Yeah.
So 4.5 plus 6.5 equals what? 11.
Yes.
Well, they had 11, so we should have pushed.
No.
11 total.
Yeah, we should have pushed.
There actually you can sometimes build
total
strikeouts like that. Yeah, you can take two guys and say they're going to
show me how to do that,
combine
Scott.
For. I used to do that a lot with NBA when I had time to watch NBA games. It would be like LeBron plus Davis, or if they're playing the Celts, like LeBron plus Jason Tatum, a total of over 63 points or whatever. So anyway, all right, let's do our. Okay, Kratzy's got to bounce, and Susan Slusser's waiting for us. Let's do our BetMGM locks for Thursday. And I'll start. I got the Chicago White Sox. The team that AJ picks way too much. And whenever he does, I'm not a jinx guy, but you're jinxing him. And then, of course, yesterday, I'm like, Kopech has been great. He's got 15 shutout. And yesterday, he absolutely shoved against the Guardians offense that needs a lot of work. But they won 6-0. And I'm going, where the hell was AJ? Picking some fancy parlay. So I've got, it's a parlay, okay? I've got, because it was minus 150. That's a lot of juice for me. I've got them. They're playing a 4-game series against the Tigers. They start. The White Sox are playing good ball. They've won 7 of 9. Offense is looking better. Giolito has looked better lately. So I've got the money line and over 4.5 runs total in the game, just to get me down to minus 110. So I think that the offense will get to Alex Faedo enough. I don't think it's going to necessarily be high scoring, so I kept it pretty low there just to bring myself down to minus 110. So maybe like a 6-2 dub, something like that for the White Sox.
Okay, good. I'm changing my pick, Claudia. I'm trailing him just to jinx the shit out of him.
No, you can't do that.
And just because
you said all
do
this,
that. What do you mean? He tells me you can't bet on the White Sox. You can't ever bet. And he's betting on the White Sox.
You can't bet on.
So now I'm betting on him again. Dang it!
No, you can.
You can't tell me no.
So that's your lock.
Not my dad.
No. Wait. So that's your lock. You're changing away from your lock because now you're going. No,
I'm going double lock. I'm going 2 locks.
No, 1 lock and 1 can just be like Kratzy, where you're playing.
My lock's not changing, but I'm tailing you.
Fine.
Just for the loss for you.
And your pick is?
My pick is I'm following Kratz because the Yankees and the Orioles are banging the ball, and Kratz's boy Piece of Schmidt is pitching, and Kyle Gibson for the Orioles is pitching in Yankee Stadium. If that sinker ain't sinking, guess what? Whack, whack, whack. So it's over 9, so I'm taking over in that game, over 9.
Fuzz. Watch out for
Lots of fuzz on Piece of Schmidt's glove.
Fur. It's fur, not fuzz.
Fuzz, fur. There ain't a lot of fuzz on the ball lately when he pitches, so that's why I'm taking the over.
All right, Kratz, you?
I'm taking the Phillies money line. We got to get more Phillies aspect on this show. So I'm taking Phillies money line. They're putting out on the mound. The Braves are. It's not. There's no D. It all looks like one line of just on his back when Dodd pitches.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Dodd versus Nola. Nola's had a good career, not a great career against the Braves, but he has a lot of swings and misses. So I'm going. It was money. It was coin flip. -110 Braves versus Phillies. So I'm taking the money line -110.
Boom.
A lot of that Nola happened with Freddie Freeman because I remember when we faced Nola when he was young, Freddie Freeman would hit a ball really far a lot off of him.
Mm-hmm.
Nola pitched against us every game. So
Phillies are coming off a dramatic dub. We'll see how they respond after that. Kratzy, you can bounce because I know you got to jump, do your thing, and toss it over to LoCain for his pick.
Well, staying on that same game, I'm taking the Braves to win that game. You know, they're gonna get to Nola.
Suck it, Kratz.
Suck it, Kratz. Yes. See you later. So I'm taking them to win that game. That team is a lot of fun to watch, and my MVP pick this year, Acuna, he's gonna go out there and get it done tonight. Braves win the game. What is it? 110.
Yeah.
Get 110. Win the game. Those are my picks.
There you go. Oh, I love the matchup.
Yeah.
LoCain, fading Kratzy. There's a lot of good storylines within these picks. No, you're not.
I am.
Where you're trying to jinx me.
Yeah, like you do to me every time I have a bet.
Save it. All right, so it is Thursday, and that means bet 10, get a hundo instantly. Sign up and deposit at least $10 into your newly created account. Download the BetMGM Sportsbook app on iOS or Android, and you place a pregame moneyline wager of at least $10 on any MLB team to win its standard odds price. You'll get $100 in bonus bets instantly. And if you sign up in Massachusetts or Ohio, it's $200 in bonus bets. You got to use the bonus code SPICYMLB. Always bet responsibly. Gambling problem or concern, call 1-800-GAMBLER. And it is time to talk West Coast baseball. Bay Area baseball right now.
It's always a gamble for me.
What?
Talking Giants baseball, A's baseball, Angels baseball.
Why? Because they love you out there? Well, let's bring in Susan Slusser, who joins us right now from the San Francisco Chronicle. Susan, great to see you. And how is life in the Bay Area lately, baseball-wise?
Well, it's very interesting. Technically, I'm in Milwaukee right now with the Giants, but beautiful Milwaukee.
Are you in the Fister? Wait, did you see Ghost?
No, that's not the Fister.
I
know,
but
I am not in the Fister. I am elsewhere. But I love a good ghost in a hotel, so I'm very pro hotel ghost. We love AJ in the Bay Area. He knows it.
Well, Susan was always nice to me. So I appreciate.
I think we had our moments, AJ. He's a
We've had this conversation in person, and I always told her she wrote some stuff about me, but I always appreciated the fact she was a professional about it. She would show up and she would talk to me before she would write the article, and that's all you ask as a player. You come to me, write whatever you want, but at least give me a chance to respond. And Susan was always great about it. She's not one of those people that writes the article and hides. She'd come up, and I have nothing but respect for Susan.
Susan, your thoughts?
I always love somebody that speaks their mind, and AJ always spoke his mind, which is perfect. Yeah, you knew you'd get an opinion. So, but some of those, you had some rivalries with some of those A's teams I covered, so that was entertaining. Yeah.
Of course, but that's what it's about. It's all what it's all about.
Yes.
We saw Marcus Stroman give and you guys were saying it was too much.
Whoa. No. I absolutely loved it. LoCain's like,
more personality. We need more personality in the game. Absolutely.
Thank you. I know AJ's been excited to ask you like a very simple
I only have
question.
one question for you, Susan, since you're
No, you don't. You have more, but
this is a big one. This because you were the A's beat reporter for years when I played. 10-41. Yep. Go.
Woof. I mean, I can't see how they don't lose 110. You know, it's ugly. The fact that they've shed like almost any name there. I feel so bad for Mark Kotsay. He knew, the direction they were headed when he took that job, but I don't think he could have imagined kind of the depths that they're going to reach. With a majority of their players are not quite big league ready. It's just sad. And then there's no fans in the stands. They've been chased away by ownership, constantly disparaging the ballpark, the fans, outright insulting the fans at times. It's just awful. It's really, it kind of breaks my heart for everybody still there.
How many? I know I love Kotsay. He was a great teammate, and I feel terrible for him too. How many do you think they lose this year? 120? Think they break the all-time record?
Not.
Do you think they break the all-time record this year? They have 10 wins. We're 50 games. We're a third of the way, just about, and they have 10.
I can't discount the possibility. I really can't. It's pathetic. And they'll probably trade more or get rid of more or do something else. I mean, and this isn't the front office is doing. This is ownership. David Forst, Billy Beane, obviously they're some of the best in the business and they want to win. That is a competitive front office. So I feel bad for them too. What a terrible situation. Ugh.
Hello, Susan. How are you? How are you doing this lovely evening?
I am great. I am happy to be in Milwaukee. Yes.
Nice. I've been there a lot. Old stomping grounds. Just quick question. What is the reasoning behind the A's ticket sales, the raising prices?
That is such a great question. I mean, it's not just that they raised the prices, including for their season ticket holders, which they didn't have that many of to begin with. They did stuff like they took away all their amenities at the same time. They took away their parking. They took away their discount on concessions and merch and all of those kinds of things. Like, that is a slap in the face. Why would you do that? Especially at the same time you're trading away anybody that has any name recognition. I can only come to the conclusion they are actively trying to drive away their fans, which is what's happened. So, yay. I mean, I don't know why anybody would do that, whether they're trying to move or not. It just doesn't make any business sense at all. And it's horrible to do to your longtime fans. I mean, you guys know it's a small fan base, but they are a good fan base. They're so dedicated. They're so smart. They're so fun. I mean, everyone knows about the drums and the guys in right field. It just makes me so sad. I grew up watching games there when I was a kid. It used to be a beautiful ballpark. You guys are all too young to remember it, but it was gorgeous before they built, Mount Davis out there for the Rangers. It was really a nice multi-purpose ballpark, and they ruined it. And now it really is the mausoleum. It's awful.
And you don't have to have an answer if they didn't say anything, because I know, obviously the owner hides behind the president, but did they ever say anything about that? Like, hey, we're charging more because payroll's down and we're trying to leave? Like, what do they say to that?
I think that their standard answer has been that they didn't raise prices for a few years now. Some of that was, coming out of the pandemic when nobody was really able to do that. They had a few years ago that really interesting sort of season-long pass. You could get certain number of seats, but then you could go into any game during the year, standing room only, like basically in the bars and stuff in the Coliseum. Apparently, they actually wound up kind of losing money on some of that, and I think that's some of their reasoning too. But this is not the time to be driving away your fans. I don't get it. Can you imagine being an Oakland A's fan right now? It's why? Why would you be?
We try and be there for them in every aspect possible, bringing on current, but also former A's, and actually getting like real questions and answers out of them about what they're dealing with, or even former players like Chris Bassett has talked to us about, like the text group that he's in with all these talented A's that they've traded away. So what I wanted to ask you about on that front is Sean Murphy. This is a young guy, had team control left, and I know they were emptying the cupboard, but it's not like he was super expensive. And clearly he looks like a superstar. He goes to Atlanta before even playing a game, signed 6 years, $73 million guaranteed. And I know he can make a little more if they pick up that club option. That would make it $788. Could they not have done that? And if they did, do you think he would have accepted it?
I mean, you could say this about almost all of these guys that they've let go or traded. I mean, the first indications they were in trouble, as far as I was concerned, was when they didn't even give Marcus Semien a qualifying offer. Are you kidding me? He's a Bay Area guy, their shortstop, steadiest person on the team leader, no qualifying offer. He probably would have left, and then you get the pick. They wouldn't even risk that. Terrible. But yeah, Sean Murphy they knew what they had. Again, this is not the front office. This is straight from ownership. They absolutely knew what they had, but ownership's not going to give that kind of money. Like, how are they spending money? They're not spending money on anything, even the ballpark right now, and it's crumbling. So.
Susan, yes, even I am on the A's fan side. I know that's hard for you to believe. Let's go to another fan base that they love me at. It's San Francisco and your Giants. They're playing well right now. I had their game on Monday against the Twins, but they are playing well right now. Gabe Kapler's kind of figured it out. They've kind of righted the pitching situation. Conforto's been a good pickup for them. How good can this team be?
You know what? They still have a few guys who are either out or who are underperforming, and I think we'll see more out of, especially Mitch Haniger. So this is kind of more what they expected. And the bullpen's coming together. They got Luke Jackson joining that bullpen probably in the next week or two too. So it's only theoretically getting better. I mean, you guys know, you never know with bullpens. Sorry, I know you guys have a sort of a betting slant when it comes to bullpens. There is just no betting. They're not projectable. But it's gotten better. Camilo Doval is turning into kind of a star, and they add Luke Jackson. So, the fifth spot in the rotation is a little bit wonky, but that's everyone. They've got Kyle Harrison, their top prospect, waiting in the wings, pitching better and better at AAA. So I think their ceiling is higher than the way they've been playing lately, and they've been one of the hotter teams. Now, their defense is still not among the league's best. It's better than it was last year, but they need to tighten that up, or all their plans around pitching, that goes out the window.
I have fan questions for you, quite a few. I was like, anyone have questions for Susan? And I'm not going to be able to get them all in here, but let's start, I guess, somewhat big picture from Justin. What's up, Susan? Greetings from LA. What do you see San Francisco doing at the deadline? Buying or selling? And they'll double down by asking about the offseason already, too. Who wins the Ohtani bidding war this winter? So a lot for you to unpack here.
Yeah, I mean, I think that they are probably going to be buyers at the deadline. It could go either way, but I do think that the addition of the extra wild cards, that's made everybody feel like they're in it. They're playing well enough. The pitching's good enough. They seem like they've probably solved the catcher spot, which was the biggest mystery. And it's tough to get a frontline catcher during the deadline anyway. They, like most potential contenders, they maybe add a reliever. They might look at starting pitching if that fifth starter spot is still weird. They've got good arms there. They just haven't quite come through. So I don't know how much they need. It might come down to if they've lost somebody via an injury. But man, these young kids that they've got who've been coming up lately, better than any trade. Off season. There is a pretty good question about what's happening at shortstop. They could leave Casey Schmidt there. Obviously, they went pretty all in Correa before that, weirdness with his physical. A little bit of a question mark, but they always go after pitching. I would love to see them go hard after Sonny Gray. Obviously, I know Sonny really well. We just saw him the other day. He's pitching better than anybody. He's always looked to me like a great fit in San Francisco. He'd probably be a great fit anywhere right now, but that's kind of what I see maybe for the off season, but that is a ways off. We have no idea what their needs might be really right now.
Royalty asking, even though Crawford should be a lifelong Giant, after his season performance so far, if he keeps it up, how do you not cut him at some point?
Yikes. Look, he's the only guy left from that dynasty. The Giants were, very deferential to all the members of that team, and with good reason. The one that won 3 titles, 5 years, and Crawford's from the Bay Area. They don't just dump him. He has had a lot of physical problems the last couple of years, like little nagging injuries. I think he probably winds up with a lot less playing time. He already has, with Casey Schmidt coming up, and he's playing a little bit out of position at shortstop. He's a world-class third baseman, but right now he's almost splitting time at shortstop. And, you hope that keeps Crawford healthy and performing well, but he's used to playing every day and he's not at his best right now. So I kind of wonder if it actually might be hurting him. It's really a thorny issue because he is so beloved by everyone, the team, the fans, really the whole Bay Area, because he's the last man standing from those great teams.
Crawford, I did the game on Monday, and Schmidt impressed me. Bailey, all the young kids they had up, Sable, all these young kids they brought up, they bring energy. And we've talked about this on the show, how much energy they bring. And then they started Brebbia in that game, and we asked Gabe before the game, we said, well, why are you starting Brebbia and you're not starting Manaea or someone else, Tristan Beck? And he said, well, we just think this is the best way to basically confuse the Twins, which it did. But Manaea came in and threw great. He had 8 punchies, I think, in 3 and 2, 3 and a third, 3 and 2, whatever it was. He pitched great. So is this going to be his new role for Manaea? We're going to let Brebbia start, and then we're going to bring in Manaea or let somebody open for him? Because he started off not good. So have they found something in Manaea by not having him start the game?
You know what? I think he's getting a little bit more comfortable doing that. I think that's really all it is. He's got so much ability, and I think coming out of the pen, which he really had done very little of before this year, just a handful of games, I think that threw him off. He looks more comfortable, so I suspect maybe we'll see more of it. Brebbia has been remarkable when he's opened. He's given up 1 run in 14 outings as an opener. So I think we'll see more of that. But with that 5th spot kind of open, I don't know. If Manaea pitches well enough, I'd rather have him start the game. I think he'd be more comfortable doing that. Again, this 5th spot, Stripling was not effective. Now he's on the IL. It's probably the biggest question mark they have right now. So TBD, I guess.
We all love the TBD, the Tiba guy. Isn't this kind of the Giants' way 2 years ago when they won all those games kind of out of nowhere? They out-platooned everybody. I don't want to say they out-thought or outsmarted everybody, but they kind of did, right, with their platoons and their pitching and the way they handled everything. So is this the path for the Giants to stay relevant without spending a ton of money? They spend money, but without going out. They missed on Correa. They missed on Judge. We know all that. Maybe they're not going to go after Ohtani, but they find these little matchups with Brebbia and then bring Manaea after him or whatever it is. Is this their path with Gabe and Farhad to relevancy in postseason?
Well, I think they definitely always trying to outsmart everybody, out-information everybody. I think you can get a little lost in the weeds with that. I think sometimes paralysis by analysis. Their strengths are clearly going to be the starting pitching and some of these young players that are coming on. And that's what's different from 2 years ago is these guys are not platoon players. You want Casey Schmidt and Pat Bailey in the lineup most of the time. And they talked in this last offseason about we need more everyday players. So that's definitely moving away from what they did. And one of the issues they had with so many platoon players is they had a lot of sort of more veteran guys who were good offensive pieces, but didn't necessarily have great fits all the time defensively. And it didn't hurt them too much 2 years ago, but last year it killed them. I mean, their defense was by far the last in the majors. And they had decent pitching, and their defense just crushed them. So they're turning things around. These kids all play great defense. And when we talk about Pat Bailey, AJ, he really reminds me of you. And I'm not the only one to say that.
I don't wish that on anybody, Susan. Because Gabe told me he has a better mustache, though. He has a better mustache than me. So when I asked,
he does. He looks like you. He plays a little bit like you. You're gonna have to talk to him about getting a little bit of that AJ Pierzynski edge. I think
you got to get him on.
Yeah, let's get him on. Poor kid. Poor kid. So, but when we talked to Gabe, Gabe said, "I want you to watch this kid catch," because I played with Gabe, and so I've known Gabe forever. And I watched him in the game. He was a little bit clanky, but he could throw, and he moves really well. And the thing for me that I noticed, and we talked to Gabe about this, was they're so much more athletic now with Bailey, with Schmidt, with Wisely, with Sable. They just can cover more ground. They make more plays. There's balls the last few years, as you know what you just talked about, they were getting ground balls to their infielders. They just couldn't get to them. And now with these younger, Schmidt, if you haven't seen Case Schmidt throw, it's a thing. Mm-hmm. He's got probably the best arm I might have ever seen in the infield. It is like, whoom. So I think that's the big thing that she's talking about is they're just better athletically. And they cover more ground and therefore make more plays and help their pitchers out.
Yeah, and their outfield last year was dead last in every metric. Some of that was having Jock Peterson in left a lot. But adding Haniger and Conforto, especially, I did not realize, having not seen him play every day, he is a better outfielder. I knew he was decent, but he is better than I even thought. He is very solid, obviously, giving them great at bats. But he doesn't look like a guy who's going to be like super athletic necessarily, and he is. Hanner's good. Sable's better in left than I think we anticipated for a guy who they were saying he's catcher. He's fine in left. So I think, AJ, you'll like this. I think they're going to probably carry 3 catchers, technically, when Joey Bart is bat. I think Sable will be probably more in left, but that gives them 3 catchers, which I love. More catchers.
Hey, every team, the more catchers, if you could have 26 catchers on a team, you win every game.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
That's a shirt. Hey, let's finish with this. Toasty asking, can you give us some information about Luis Matos, who I've been following for a long time now, too, as a fantasy baseball player. Said, will you see him this year? You know, he's hitting well going into Tuesday in AAA. So you want to get younger and more athletic in your outfield? That's a good way to do it.
They have so many good young outfielders coming. I mean, that is really a strength of the organization right now. Guys to keep an eye on also are Vaughn Brown, who's at AA, Grant McCray, who's at high A. Really, really an area of strength for them. Luis Matos, he had some injury things last year. He underperformed. He sort of figured things out toward the end of the year. Obviously, he's come on strong this year. Usually I would go like, hey, he just got to AAA. Like, we're not going to see him for a while. But I would have said the same exact thing about Pat Bailey a few weeks ago. You know, he got 14 games at AAA. So if there's a need, I think they're a team right now that goes like, hey, let's just call up the young guy, which I love. So I'm not ruling that out. They do have a lot of outfielders, and Austin Slater's coming off the IL soon. Peterson, who's, I mean, as you know, just a DH now, but he's coming back soon, which kind of, also ties up a roster spot. But we will see Luis Matos this year. Absolutely.
I like it. Okay. I'm buying this team a little bit more now.
This is not the Giants' way, though.
No.
For the years. They did it, but they did it.
Giants' way.
But remember, they did it in 2010, Posey and all these young kids, right? Brian Wilson and all these kids, and they won. And then they went away from it after they won the 3 World Series for a while. And now maybe they're thinking, well, maybe this is not so bad to have some of these young kids come up, bring some energy to these veterans and help us win. Because since they've called these guys up, they've played a lot better.
Yes, agreed.
I mean,
Susan,
I think,
yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, I think some of it was like, hey, we're not getting production from some of these guys anyway, and no defense. Let's call these kids that can at least play defense, and they're hitting. Because that was the question. Will they hit? Yeah. So we like that.
No, I'm excited. I like it. Yeah, I'm into it. I was like, I was probably going to say seller, buyer. Okay,
yeah,
let's
I believe
do
it.
it.
The Giants are always looking to. The Giants always want to win. They are not the other team on the other side of the bay. They're trying to win.
I know it's complicated.
Until Bailey, maybe one day they'll retire his jersey like they did mine in San Francisco. So good luck.
Oh, stop. Susan, thank you so much. It was great to catch up.
All right.
Appreciate it. Susan Slusser joining us, writes for the San Francisco Chronicle, really one of the best in the game for a long time. You can check out her articles and give her a follow on Twitter as well, at Susan Slusser. Okay, we are going to have Kyle Wright of the Atlanta Braves joining us in like 2 minutes. But what I want to do first is throw down one more soundbite from Legends territory.
Oh, gosh.
Doug Mientkiewicz, and part 1 of the episode is out now. We gave everyone a little sneak peek yesterday of his A-Rod thoughts, former teammate in the bigs and in high school. Now we have Jeter stories as well. So let's run Doug Mientkiewicz on his beef, kind of, with Derek Jeter that got a little smelly.
Come on now.
And Derek always talked to me. I was always like a consummate like captain, right? He was always worried about everybody and taking care of everybody and joking and having a good time and making sure everybody's focused. He don't speak to me. And him and Posada were like the old guys in the Miller Lite commercial, like they always like stir the pot and then walk away. And Posada comes up to me, he's like shaking his head. He's like, you fucked up, man. And I'm like, I don't recall what I did. So the game goes by. He doesn't talk to me the entire game. Like, doesn't even look at me, which is unlike him. Did our handshake, but it was like kind of at a 3% when usually it's 120. And so the game's over, nothing happens. The next day, it's game 4. I walk into my locker, and on the chair is a Macy's like manila folder. I open it up, and it's a professional letterhead that says like Macy's, whatever, and something to the effect of, due to your comments on the whatever date it was in the New York Times or New York, whatever it was, Daily, we've had to pull 2.7 million bottles of Derek Jeter driven off the shelves. And my heart sinks because, like, all I want to do is come back and be a Yankee. I missed half the year. I feel like this is the place for me. I can hit lower in the order and do my thing and play defense and win a championship. And I'm crushed. Like, this is the playoffs, and we're in an elimination game. And I'm, like, sick. And Derek won't even talk to me. He won't even look at me.
Oh.
Well, you can catch the rest.
Oh, I thought we were going to get the end.
No.
Well, we're not getting the punchline?
You can catch the rest on Legends territory.
Okay.
Yes. You can download or just grab the podcast on Apple or Spotify, or you can see it right now on YouTube. Boom, there's where you go. Every Wednesday. That's only part one, but it's about and just because the story's long, so I just wanted to give everyone a taste. Like, he's talking about Derek Jeter's cologne, and Mientkiewicz was like
making fun of it because it was the Midge game. It was the Midge game.
Right.
The game where Jabba Chamberlain was getting attacked by all the midges in Cleveland. And he said it was because he had Derek Jeter's cologne on. And that's what started it. Then it gets into this whole story with Joe Torre and Jeter and Posada.
And they
pretty great.
Pumped him good.
Oh, they got him so good.
Which the part for me, Lo, is that it's the playoffs and these guys are still just going after their teammates, pranking them because, I mean, I don't want to say it was easy for them, but they're in the playoffs all the time, and like they're just keeping it loose. So I just thought it was really cool. You know, you've been in the postseason plenty. I mean, when I'm covering teams in the playoffs, like guys are a little more serious, a little tighter. Then you find out in the Yanks clubhouse, he's getting freaking Macy's letterhead put together to prank Doug Mientkiewicz. That's next level shit.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome, man. Like you said, throughout the season, you're having fun all season long. You're enjoying yourself, having a great time. But as soon as the playoff starts, everybody tightens up and gets so serious all of a sudden. And it's like you forget how to play baseball. So I like the fact that they're keeping it loose, enjoying themselves, because sometimes you forget to do that.
Hey, we have our next guest ready to go. Atlanta Braves pitcher Kyle Wright joining us right now on FT Live. Kyle, how are you? Good to see you, man. Oh, wait, I don't hear you.
Uh-oh. He's on mute.
We got a little mute action. Wait, try one more time, Kyle.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
You'd think a guy that went to Vandy would know how to use a computer.
Oh, here we go.
No. I didn't finish school. That's the problem.
Oh, Corbin doesn't teach you guys that? I thought at Vandy, first of all, at Vandy, they give you everything, right? They give you computers. You know, they have all these big leaguers come back and teach you guys. I mean, that's why they give you 52 uniforms. I mean, that's why every kid wants to go to Vandy. Corbin doesn't teach you guys how to unmute yourself. I mean, what's happening?
Yeah. Like I said, that was the 4th year, so I missed that year.
Hey, when you're like the 5th overall pick and you sign for like $20 million, it's okay. You can skip a year of college.
20 million, come on.
7? I think it was.
Don't misreport.
Okay, sorry. Sign
Close
for 7.
enough. Close enough.
Yeah, I was way off.
Hey, Kyle, first off, obviously, just how you feeling? How's everything going with the shoulder?
Feeling better. Getting better every day. Definitely a little frustrating, but first real injury. So just trying to, make the most out of each day, but we're getting there. It's getting better.
Is this your first major injury or to deal with anything? Yeah.
Yeah. First time missing time. First time like feeling anything in a game, which was like pretty scary for me in the moment. But fortunately we're going to be okay. But yeah, first one, and not a fan of these.
No, not fun. And we actually had we had Brendan Woodruff on with us 30 minutes ago. He's the same way. I mean, he's mostly been on the field, obviously his whole career. He's like, dude, I'm bored. It's like, I'm just walking around talking shit to my teammates right now because I got so much extra time and I can't play in the games.
I know. Yeah. That's the hardest part is you do your stuff and then what do you do for the rest of the day? So that's about what I'm doing as well.
What are you doing? Like, what can you do? I mean, what do you like to do anyway when you're off the field or even if you're killing time at the ballpark? Are you a talker? Are you a reader?
Well, my big thing off the field is golf, so I can't do that either. So having to play a lot of video games while I'm at home. At the field, I do my stuff and then just kind of hang out, play some golden tee in the locker room left-handed just to keep me get my golf fix. But just hanging out with the guys, that's really the best way to kill time and, keep the sanity.
So Kyle, wanted to go over obviously, your relationship with the Summit Counseling Center this season, which is an organization that provides professional counseling, psychological services, school-based mental health and community education services. Wanted to give you the floor to kind of explain more about what that is, and then dive into some of the mental health components in the game, and also what you've experienced really early on in your life in that category.
Yeah, so I think for a long time, me and my wife have wanted to, give back and do something, productive other than just, play baseball. So I've always been intrigued by mental health just because, unfortunately, it's kind of impacted. I've had a lot of things that have impacted my life because of it, and then obviously, this game we play baseball is, as taxing mentally as anything. So I've always just been, had I've always wanted to do more, and I've understood the importance of it. So Summit actually reached out to me, and it was almost right away. It was like a perfect match. They work in Atlanta. It's exactly what I was looking forward to. They work with schools, which I think is really important to kind of work with kids at a younger age and understand that it's okay to talk about your feelings and get that off your chest, so you can continue to grow and develop as a person. So so far it's been a lot of fun working with Summit. They've been fantastic. They've got a great group of people that do a lot of good stuff. So I'm looking forward to just continuing to working with them and hosting them throughout the season, and continuing to grow in that relationship.
Kyle, can you talk about some of your issues? Listen, we played, Lorenzo and I played. We know how hard baseball is. But for the outside people, they don't understand the grind and being away and answering questions after you go 0 for 4. You pitch one inning, give up a bunch of runs, and come out of the game, and you got to wait 4 days to pitch. Can you talk about your personal experience with this and just how hard it is?
Yeah, I think for me, I struggled significantly at the big league level. First getting called up in 2018 as a September call up, and just kind of getting my taste of, I had some success and had some bad outings. And then in 2019, get some chances to start. None of them went very well. 2020, struggled early on, kind of got on a little roll, and then gave up 7 runs in the first inning of the NLCS. And then going back down in 2021, and again, struggling. Had 2 starts in the big league level, both bad. And then, I think it just started to beat myself up all the time, which, I guess rightfully so, because I wanted to do well. And, that's, again, kind of what we talked about earlier, first round pick and, signed for this much, supposed to be this guy already. And, to struggle that much and was frustrating. And it was really tough to kind of, fight that battle and not look too far into the struggles and try to figure out what I can do better. So for me, I think once I finally, really reset, that's what I did. I hit the reset button in all phases of the game, mentally, physically, on the field, off the field. And I think that's kind of what really allowed me to grow as a person, as a player. And I think it's, helped me have a good season last year. And, hopefully we get the shoulder right and have a good rest of the season this year.
Yeah, Kyle, as a guy who, we all, like you said, we all go through our struggles. We all deal with stuff on and off the field, failing in this game is tough. And if you allow, it will beat you down, man. And me, myself, personally, I didn't sleep well a lot of nights, when I would strike out or whatever the case may be, just had a bad slump or whatever the case may be. And you just got to always figure out ways or find ways to get out of it and keep pushing forward. But for me, I had special people in my life that I can talk to that just kind of motivated me and kept me going. Do you have people or did you have this one certain thing that would help you overcome certain situations?
Yeah, I think to your point, fortunately, I have a lot of good people in my life. Obviously, wife, my parents, brothers, friends. But one of the guys that I turned to pretty heavily was Zach Sorensen, and he's our mental performance coach at the Braves. And we really just we talked about so many things, obviously pretty heavily on baseball and routines and all that. But, it helped me so much on the field, and I saw it translate to off the field. And then they just they really do coincide. So I think Zach has been a huge factor for me, and really kind of turning my career around and getting that mental side squared away and understanding how to handle failure and how to handle success has been a game changer for me. So Zach's a guy that I have to give a lot of credit to.
Did things change for you? I know you've been up and down, and I know the story more because I was a Braves fan growing up, and I know the whole story. You won 20 games last year, but did you going up and down? You said 21 you struggled. Then you get called up, and guess what? You pitch in the World Series, and you do great. Do you think that was the turning point? Not only the talks and everything, but then you get up to the big leagues, and on the biggest stage in the world, you go out and you're just like shove. Do you think that was the main point where you said, man, all this work has finally become reality?
Yeah, there was a couple different factors, I think. One, I think I finally just quit playing that game myself like, oh, I don't deserve this. I finally stopped feeling sorry for myself and understanding, this is the reality. This is what it is. I should be here in AAA because I'm not pitching well. I shouldn't be in the big leagues or because I'm not playing well. So that was one big thing. And again, I give that a lot of credit to Zach, and we worked through that. So I think understanding that, and I actually went to work from there. We really hit the reset button. I started working with Ben Brewster, Tread Athletics, on the mechanical side and pitch wise. And so I think kind of pair those two together, and I really truly got back to myself mentally, physically, and then I just started to buy into that, and end up having a really good rest of the year in AAA, and I got my chance in the World Series, and at that one I hadn't pitched in the big league since my last start, which was I don't know, maybe April or so. It was early in the year and it was bad, so you never really know until you get back in there and do it in a game, and then for it to translate as well as it did in the World Series was that's when I kind of knew. I was like, okay, I can do this. I believe in myself. My stuff's good enough. I've really felt squared away from there.
Did you change your pitches though, right? You went from in college you were a 4-seam slider guy, and then you went to a 2, because you changed your pitches when you kind of came up as one guy. Then you went down and became a different guy. And then when you came back for that World Series, you were back to the old you, correct?
Yeah, essentially. So like out of college and really my first year of pro ball, I was mostly, 4-seam curveball, or I should say 4-seam and 2-seam. I always had a pretty good mix of both with the curveball. Then kind of over time throughout my minor league career, and really when I first got called up is when analytics started to really take over, and that was when things turned into the 4 seams up, hard sliders down, and it's just not what I did really well. So it wasn't necessarily wrong, but for me and the way I throw in my arsenal, I had bad results because of it. Command was worse, got hit. So then when I went back down, I 100% bought back into throwing the sinker, throwing the curveball, and then mixing in the changeup and cutter off that, and that was the turning point. Just throwing that curveball as much as possible, and I'm not trying to be so fine with my sinker. I think if you're throwing a sinker, you kind of want to encourage contact to an extent. So I think just trusting those and attacking the strike zone with those two was the ticket.
I'm going to give you a confidence boost here. You probably already know this, but maybe not. So I know with the Summit staff, which I mentioned at the top there, you hosted them at a game recently, and they also had their annual gala, a silent auction, where items were being auctioned off, like Taylor Swift tickets, which are pretty expensive, Braves tickets, along with donated signed items. I'll ask AJ this too. Which do you think went for more, AJ? And I know you've seen some T Swift ticket prices.
Well, I ain't buying the Taylor Swift tickets. I don't care about her, so I'm taking this.
I know you're not buying them and you don't care, right? Well, guess what? That's what happened. The auction went in favor of the tickets and the signed items.
Have you been to a Braves game lately? Because Kyle's there. Listen, there's not an empty seat in that place. Forget an empty seat. You can't even walk around the Battery without. I mean, you're the whole time you're trying to walk from anywhere. Yeah, those tickets are hard to come by. So yeah, and then you're throwing in 20-game winner signing stuff. Yeah, that's good item.
So you beat Taylor Swift, Kyle.
Yeah, I was shocked to see that, but I guess to your point, the Braves games are always packed, so people here love their Braves baseball. So yeah, I was shocked though.
It's okay. You can say, yeah, I signed a ball or two
Yeah.
for him, you know. It's okay. You can toot your own horn on the show. We'll let you.
Not this time. Maybe for something else, but I was shocked here.
All right, so let's circle back to what's next for you personally, what you want to do in terms of the mental side of the game. Like, are there still components that you want to add to your routine or that you'd like to explore that you're learning, and how you can give back in that category as well, in addition to doing this, which obviously is great, and then we can blast this out to people. But I know you're working kind of feet on the ground in this department too.
Yeah, a little bit of both. I think for and my experience with baseball, I think always I'll keep working on it, keep changing things, just because every game of baseball is different. One game is completely different than the next. So I think that's the fact that it's always evolving. I think you kind of have to always evolve with it. That's something, like I said, me and Zach work on a lot, and we talk through those things, talk through the games. What do we do well? What can we do better? And how are we going to do it? So that's kind of, for me, that's always going to evolve. And, right now I really enjoy working with Summit. I think they do a lot of great stuff. So I see us working together for a while. And, hopefully we can do some even cooler things as we continue to grow and, hopefully bring some more awareness to this. But, I don't have any specific plans in that regard. But, like I said, Summit's doing great work, and I'm looking to see how far we can take this thing.
This is awesome. Yeah, appreciate it, Kyle. Great to talk it out, and we'd love to have you back soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Kyle. Get well soon too, man. Kyle Wright of the Atlanta Braves joining us. That's good stuff.
He really is a remarkable story.
Yeah.
Not only, the mental health side is what people think. We always keep talking about this, but I think he was the 5th overall pick. He signed for $7 million.
Yep.
Okay, so then he comes in and he struggles. People think, you signed you're just going to be in the big leagues. Well, he talked about it. He was up and down, and then he finally realized, man, I need to make adjustments, and he did that. And at the end of the day, LoCain, you got to be yourself.
Yep.
And if you don't trust what you're doing, you can have all the coaches in the world, and if the coach tells you to throw high four-seamers, and you're like, this ain't me, guess what? It ain't going to work. And he figured that out with the help of a lot of people, and then he went back two-seam curveball. He won 20 games last year. Pitched great in the 21 World Series.
He's got stuff. He's got
But
talent.
still,
Yeah.
You can have the greatest stuff. And how many players you play with that were unbelievably talented, but guess what? Up here,
Right.
they couldn't figure it out.
How many top
figured it
picks? If you think about it, how many top picks where you see that, some never make it to the big leagues, or they falter out really quick. So, it doesn't matter. You got to go up there and get it done regardless. And it's a mental game for sure.
Hey, so this episode is sponsored by BetterHelp, and we encourage you to check out the app. And also, there is a code that you can use for 10% off your first month. So, Lo, just to continue on the topic here for a moment, what did you do? I know you said sleep issues sometimes. What did you do to combat that? You mentioned family support. Would it be trying to get a routine down late at night so you can chill and forget about the pressures that you're dealing with during the day or in a night game?
Yeah, because like I said, when you're growing up, no one teach you this stuff, when you're growing up. You just kind of, you go, they tell you be tough, and you just try to figure it out on your own. And after a while, though, it starts to affect you over time. I had a time during my minor league career where I wanted to quit, because I was struggling so bad. I remember it was 0 for 50 in the minor leagues, man. And I just, in my mind, I'm like, man, my life is over. That's the things you think about when you're struggling in baseball. And, my mom was a big support in my life. And without her and other people in my life, man, I don't know if I play as long as I did. So it helps to have great people in your life, mentors, also other players speaking about it. That helps more than most of us realize, I think. So other players, man, Lorenzo, he's going through this. AJ, he's going through this. To hear it from those guys, it makes them feel like they're not alone. Because as men, you don't really want to come out and say, hey, man, I'm struggling with this or I'm struggling with that. But mentors, other players, we all got to kind of lean on each other.
It's true. And I think another thing that Kyle talked about a routine. As a baseball player, you got to have a routine. You got to have
Mhm.
something that you can fall back on when
Mhm.
things are going not the way you think. And people call them superstitions, but really it's a routine. And we've had this conversation before that as a player, you get into a routine and you say, okay, this is what I do every single day, and I'm going to do it like this every single day. And I know that I can trust what I'm doing every day. Now, does it always work? No. But at least you have something to fall back on. If things start getting out of control, you can say, all right, well, I got out of my routine. My routine is I go to the field at 1:30, and then I have lunch, and then I hit in the cage, and then I work out, or whatever it is. You have to figure that out, but it has to be a personal thing you figure out, because I can talk to you about it, and you look at me like, what are you doing? And I'm like, well, this is what works for me, because everyone does something different. So you have to be able to figure that. But if there's people you can talk to and that can help you figure that out, because baseball's hard, it's really hard.
Oh yeah.
So that for me was the thing. I had to have a routine that I could fall back on, and then I had to have people, of course, in your life that you can talk to and say, I suck at this, or I'm doing this. Like,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. You need someone to talk to. And on that front, to give you some more info on BetterHelp, if you need someone to talk to, this is one of those places that you can go on the app, and you can get a real conversation going with a professional. So if you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, and it's designed to be convenient, flexible, suited to your schedule. You just fill out a brief questionnaire. It matches you up with a licensed therapist. You can switch therapists anytime, no additional charge. I'm on there. I'm exploring and having conversations. There's a journal on there. There's text back and forth. There's conversations. You can find more balance with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/FTLive today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/FTLive. Wow, we have flown by with guests already today. We only have 15 minutes left. So I want to queue up a segment that we actually haven't done in a while, but we are loaded up with content for this. Hot Corner. Ready?
Wait on you.
Do you know what Hot Corner is? Do you remember?
No, it's been so long.
I would like to start with Yohan Duran and his 104-mile-an-hour fastball.
That's hot.
That's hot. And it's not flat. It moves.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And then he throws a 95-mile-an-hour split behind it.
Splinker.
Splinker?
They're calling
it a splinker?
Yeah, I thought it's the splinker, right? There's the 104 piece up at the top of the zone.
That one said 105, by the way, and then 104.
Yeah, so especially when it's up there near the letters, I mean, give me the eye visual. Does it look like it's coming in? I mean, I know it's fast as shit, but does it look like it's coming in lower?
It's just
you know what I'm saying?
Okay, so there was guys that threw hard, and nobody. I guess Chapman was the first. Bobby Jenks was like 98 to 99 for the original. Matt Anderson was a guy for the Tigers. Matt Anderson, I'll never forget. We're in the Arizona Fall League, and he was like 100, 102, and they're like, he's working on his changeup. So it's called changeups, and he was throwing 92-mile-an-hour changeups. And you're like, dude, this guy's different, right? There's dudes that throw 105 or 104, and it looks like 1,000, and then there's dudes that throw 100, and you're like, it looks like it's moving about this fast.
Low, agree?
Agree, 100%. There's different levels of 100, you know. And also, to me, if a guy only has 2 pitches, that helps, you know. It would probably just sit on the fastball. But if a guy has a slider, a changeup, and a 100-mile-per-hour in his back pocket whenever he feels like it, that to me is what changes everything for a hitter. But as I was looking at those hitters right there, you notice there was no leg kick at all. Like, I feel like there's only a matter of time before no one's leg kicking anymore.
True. 104. You know? Listen, 104 is 104, 105. Mm-hmm. I remember facing Chapman the first time.
Yeah.
That was when he was 101, 102. And it was, left-handed, obviously. I was left-handed. It was a different than I had faced other guys that were 100, because most of them, like Zamaia was 100, and he was right-handed. But, I mean, here's the stat. I mean, Jordan Hicks does it all the time. Helsley, who comes on here all the time, does it. There's a blast from the past. Neftali Feliz, I didn't know he threw 104, but It's a new one.
Yeah, so if you're listening right now, pitchers to throw 104 plus in the pitch tracking area. Yeah, Chapman many times, 66 times. Jordan Hicks 12, Duran 3, all in yesterday's game. Helsley 2, Mauricio Cabrera 1, Tyron Guerrero 1, Doval, and Neftali Feliz. 104.
Here's my thing. Though, I've had this conversation with people not only in baseball and scouts and players and coaches. All of a sudden, there's way more guys that throw hard. Mm-hmm. I'm talking hard, right? And when I came up, like there was like one guy that was like 95, and you were like, "Oh, dude, this dude is throwing." It was like LaTroy Hawkins. He was like 95, 96, and you're like, "Damn, dude, he throws so hard." And there was nobody else. There was 93s, some 94s, and you see some guys, but it was very rare. Now, every dude throws 100. 95 to 100-ish. There's obviously some guys that throw harder. My question is it the radar guns are better and we're just getting it closer out of their hand? Have we gotten that much bigger and stronger that everybody can just do it? Or is it because we tell every pitcher, we don't care if you throw that many strikes, just go out there and throw for one inning as hard as you can? Which one is it? Because I don't – if you watch a game, if I just sit there and watch it, the ball doesn't look like it's moving that much faster out of the guy's hands. Right? It just registers bigger, so everyone goes, "Ooh, 101."
I rigged all the radar guns.
I don't know. I wonder that. What is it? Is it really that much better training? Because guys could throw hard. Nolan Ryan was throwing 100 and whatever back in the day.
Yeah, but also humans keep getting bigger, faster, stronger.
But everybody now throws 90. If you're a bullpen guy, you don't throw 95. They're like, this guy don't throw 95.
Yeah, the velo keeps going up.
Is that why we have more?
Maybe.
It's the same body. Yeah. So you're putting more on the body.
I don't know. It's just something to think about.
Yeah.
Because I always ask when I see guys, oh, this guy throws 102. Well, how all of a sudden does every guy throw a 98? Turn on a game. Every guy that comes out of the bullpen low is the fire thing comes up. Oh, 98. Every dude. There's not one guy. Lefty, righty. Sidearm guys are throwing 95.
Yeah, but like watch the NBA and look at the athleticism now versus not that long ago. I mean, when I was growing up, you look up like Todd McCullough. Like those guys don't play in the NBA anymore. The athleticism is insane. Okay. So to me, I mean, it's not the exact same, but there are enough human beings on this planet that can throw at that speed now that the other ones, most of them, fall off. Obviously, there's outliers.
Okay. I don't know.
That's what I think scientifically.
I don't know. I'm just, it's always something I've wondered about. Because I also saw, have you seen the tweet, Lo, where they said 94 was 88 back in the day?
I haven't seen that one, no.
So there's a thing going where the radar guns, because the old like Stalker and the old ray guns, right? They got it when it got to home plate.
They were not that far back.
That's what they said. They said there's tweet. I don't know who, but it said 88 now is 94, 95. So that's 7 miles. So it was 104 really 97. You see where I'm asking?
Interesting, yeah.
So was Nolan Ryan throwing 108?
I don't know. Oh, so he was only throwing 101?
No, I don't know.
But you see where the question comes from.
I think there could be like a little more cooking on the radar gun, but 6 miles per hour sounds like a lot.
Maybe. I don't know. That's why I'm wondering.
Much more serious topic for you next. So last week, was it last week or earlier this week?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Pete Alonso said, I can say it on this show.
Oh, yeah.
Let's fucking go Mets.
Mm-hmm.
It's been some dramatic wins for the ball club. He said that on TV, on the interview, and also it goes around the ballpark. They put it on the PA. His manager, Buck Showalter, spoke on the Michael Kay show a couple of days ago and said, no more of that.
So let's move on. Let's get Did it, because you're an old school guy. I mean, I know you're very hip and everything. Did it bother you when Pete cursed on the field?
Of course it did. So did it his mother. Hey, I learned my lesson a long time ago. My mother could read lips, and boy, that Sunday drive home after a day game when I would always call her and put the phone on speaker and let her go, she would tell me, and I always felt horrible. And so, yeah, it's not a good idea and something that, I don't think you'll see happen again. I hope not.
But that's his thing. LFGM, and Mets fans rally around it. Maybe not 7-year-old Mets fans. I mean, you guys have kids. Yours are a little older than Lowe's. So your thoughts here? Because on our show, and I'm not the best person here, I'm biased. Some players love to come on and just be like, oh, I don't have to worry about saying I don't give a shit. Like I can just say it, and that's just how I talk.
Yeah. I think it's just where you're at in your life. Like there's an image. Like you say, I would curse a lot during games, and my mom would text me after each game, hey, you need to stop all that cursing. Like, if your kids are watching, or people are watching, like, don't curse. So some people care. My mom, she wasn't a big fan of the cursing. So, she would wear me out. She would let me know how she felt about it. And I tried to rein it in because that was my mom, So I try to respect my mom as much as I could. And now that I have little kids, I get it. I understand it because I don't want to say something like that. And then, if I say something on this show and then they see the show and they come back, hey, well, my daddy's cursing up a storm. So I try to just be careful with what I say, but to each his own. It's whatever you prefer.
Now listen, my mom texted me about this show and was like, "You try not to curse." So I mean, she still watches. But my whole thing is, you have kids, Lil. I have teenagers, older kids.
Mm-hmm.
You think they don't hear worse on their radio? Turn on the radio one day; they hear all kinds of stuff.
They do.
Everywhere.
All kinds of stuff.
Social.
Go on Instagram. Go on Twitter. Go on TikTok. Whatever you're on, it's everywhere. And the thing is like you can try to protect your kids from it. They're going to hear it. If they have a phone, they're going to hear it. They turn on the TV, they're going to hear it.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's the rally cry for Pete Alonso to connect with Met fans, then let's fucking go Mets.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Thank you.
Because whatever it takes, if it takes Jason Kipnis calling them out and they get hot, then you know what? They're all for it. So, I mean, listen, Buck, I respect Buck Showalter, and that's his opinion. But if I'm Pete Alonso next time, unless they're going to find me so much money that I can't afford it, let's fucking go Mets.
Thank you. That's his tagline.
Exactly.
Let him run.
And the
and
fans
it's harmless.
And the fans love it. David Ortiz said it. He became a damn hero.
Legend for that speech.
Right?
And that speech.
That was the first time ever.
That speech was incredible, but is it the same if he doesn't say fuck?
No, it's probably not as impactful because it doesn't get, it gets shown, but it's not as big of like, even if the people are like, oh my gosh, he cursed. That was also part of it because people were like, only David Ortiz could get away with this in Boston. Right? So that was part of the whole feeling of the speech was like, this is our freaking city, right?
Speak with passion.
Listen, words are bad.
I was actually there when that happened, actually. So we were there. We were stuck in the hotel room. And when he made that speech, man, it was, it lit that entire stadium up. So that's why you kind of roll with it sometimes, If it gets you going, you kind of just roll with it.
Pete better curse again.
Yeah.
Well, Buck might scold him.
So what? First of all, Buck says stuff. I've known Buck for years. Buck and me have had conversation about saying whatever the fuck we want.
Yes.
We've been in situations where we were told, don't say this, don't say that. And we're like, we're saying what we want to say whatever we want. So, yeah, I think he's good. All right, one more here on the Brewers Stadium. So this is from the Dan O'Donnell Show, an exclusive. MLB has told the Brewers they must repair American Family Field to keep it an MLB quality stadium. No ultimatum was given, but the league pointedly referenced the A's move to Vegas during the discussion. Whoa. I mean, this to me actually was surprising on many levels. One, I love that place. I think it's great. I always have a great time there. Now, I'm not a player and I don't know the structure, but seems good to me. Two, no, not good. Okay, so let's start with one. What's
2002 All-Star game. 2002 All-Star game, tie game. It was raining. There were places you couldn't go on the field because it was dripping. The stadium just opened.
Okay.
There was leaks that was 20 years ago. There was literally spots where you're like, I can't sit here because the roof is leaking on my head during the home run derby. That was just opened. And because they said because it was,
they didn't fix it.
I don't know, but they didn't at the time. But when it opens like a fan, right? It doesn't open like the Rogers Center is one big piece, or Seattle is one big piece, but it's like a fan, so it's like pieces that open kind of like this. And they said there's gaps in between. They didn't think about with the wind blowing, the water gets through the gaps. So you literally sitting, you're watching the home run derby, and there's just a stream of water coming down. You're like, well, not sitting there. You got to go 10 feet that way.
The Diamondbacks don't have a retractable roof right now.
It's broke. We had that the other
broken.
day.
They have to fix that too. It's actually been a while.
You know what?
already.
I got a great idea for the Brewers. The Orlando Brewers.
Stop.
Build you a new stadium.
I think I just didn't know it got to that level where it's like fix it or Oakland to Vegas. I'm like, whoa. Those are fighting words.
Right?
Orlando Brewers.
No.
I just got done playing there. Hey, I would say, yes, it's time. The inside part, as far as the training room, I think it's time for an upgrade. Also, there's no AC in there, so if it's raining outside and it's hot, it's a sauna in there. So, you're sweating your butt off and can't do anything about it. Just got to deal with it. So I think it's time for an upgrade. Also, fix that shadow, those windows over there as well, because as a hitter, you can't see the ball coming in. It's tough. So I think it's time for an upgrade, fix something, patch up something. Let's just get it done.
Be like you played in Kansas City. Every year they do.
You freshen up structural issues.
But here's the thing: in Kansas City, they have a thing where they have to do something new every year, right? There's something with the stadium where they get like 20 million or 30. I don't know what the number is. I'm throwing numbers out there, but they get let's say $20 million every year. They have to do something to the stadium to improve it, the fan experience, the clubhouse. They have to spend that money. The Brewers, what have they done since it opened? What has changed at Sun Miller American Family Field?
Yeah.
What's changed? The clubhouse is the same.
Mm-hmm.
The field is the same. They changed the color of Bernie Brewer's slide. Went from yellow to white. Maybe that was their big upgrade. I'm serious. They haven't changed nothing. It's the same exact thing.
I'm always comfortable there. What?
You're sitting in an air-conditioned booth. Of course you're
but
comfortable.
no, even when I go as a fan. Fan experience is fine, no?
It's a little dark in there.
It is a little dark. That's fair.
Tough to see
It is a little
as
dark.
well. I
Day
forgot
games,
about that.
gosh, you rooted. Oh, day games were the worst there because of the shadows and the windows, and there was like all these on the. You're like, oh,
yeah, you have splotches of sun.
Yeah, it was weird. It was just weird design.
Mm-hmm.
But
can be fixed.
Can be fixed.
Yes.
It can be up.
I'm not saying you need to blow the place up. Just fix it.
Upgraded. You don't need to start over, but you need upgrades and you need to, renovate it?
Yeah, that's the word.
Yeah.
All right, let's slap hands. You have a play for us, apparently?
Oh.
Pittsburgh?
Yeah. Did you guys see this? It was yesterday in the Texas game. You guys remember Bill Buckner? 86 Mets?
Never heard of him.
86
I'm
Mets?
kidding.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lo, you know who Bill Buckner is?
Yes.
Watch this play. This is
the
double.
legs?
I need to see a replay on this one because it was hard to track this baseball as it goes through the legs of Santana right there. And Castro comes over. He has plenty of time. And it goes through his legs as well. I do not think I have ever seen that.
It's a getaway baseball.
Yes.
Twice.
That's
on
my
the
friend
same
Dave
play.
Valley, too, on the call there. Good stuff.
Twice in the same place.
Megged. Less pressure, less
But still.
magnitude on the play. No, you're right, and especially the second one going through Castro.
That was the same game. Oviedo had an immaculate inning, too.
Yes.
3 strikeouts on 9 pitches.
But they lost.
Yeah, but
No, I know.
Go Pirates. Scott loves them. But I've never seen that. I've never seen a ball go through a dude's leg twice. 2 different dudes' legs twice.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Even at college level, that would be
Little League level.
That would be laps, right?
Yeah, knock it down.
If
kids.
that happened to your high school team, what are you doing?
Knock it down. Put your face in front of that ball.
Yeah.
And get you a new face.
We'll buy you a new face.
You ever seen that, Lo?
I've never seen that before. I'm kind of speechless after seeing that because I didn't, like I say, that's my first time seeing that. And yeah, I got nothing on that one, man.
Damn.
Gotta shake that off and move on to the next one, I guess.
Exactly. We got a lot of shaking off to do right now in Pittsburgh.
You guys have a good weekend.
You too.
I'll have a great weekend.
You and I, Monday podcast though.
Possibly.
Memorial Day. It's
well,
coming.
have a good weekend. We'll see you later. Have a great Memorial Day.
Yes, you too.
Everybody out
We're
there,
back
have a great
though.
Memorial Day. Yeah, they're back
live
tomorrow,
on
but I'm
Friday.
talking
Ken
about
Rosenthal with us. We'll stream live on Twitter. The whole deal. Lo, great to see you, man.
Likewise. Tell Ken I said hello.
Yes, we will. Absolutely. See y'all Friday.